Welcome. My name is Mark Edgman. I'm the Athletic Director at Upland Christian Academy. And this is our mandatory meeting for the Athletic Director to be able to speak directly to our parents at Upland Christian Academy that are involved in athletics in the junior high and high school. So let's get started. This is a mandatory meeting because we feel the information we're going to provide is highly valuable for you and your family to have a great experience here at Upland Christian. You only have to attend it one time per year, and this is your opportunity now. Cover a few of the bullet points. First thing you're going to do is register online. Now go to the school website, uplandchristianacademy.org, click on athletics. The drop-down menu will say athletic website, click on that, and then click on registration. You're going to register completely one time during the time that your son or daughter is playing athletics in junior high and or high school. And a complete one will be to provide physician information, much information, but you only do it one time. After that, you'll be a very simple just agreeing to some of the information we're going to discuss tonight. You must have a physical on file. Our calendar year is from May until May. Now they can do it with the family physician, or we will usually offer in May a very low-cost physical here on campus. So look for information in the month of May about taking care of it. My suggestion is do it here on campus. The money raised goes to one of our athletic teams. And then when you have the opportunity to do it within your insurance calendar year, then take care of a complete physical at that point. Some of the things that you must approve are that you have a assumption of risk. That basically is discussing that your child could be injured. It could be minor, could be very severe. So something that you need to understand that they could be injured while they're involved in athletics. That you agree with the athletic handbook. The athletic handbook was put together many, many years ago. It has basically no changes. And if you'll go online, you can see that athletic handbook and review it to make sure that you agree. Proof of insurance. Our school, like many schools, carries secondary insurance, the large liability policy. But you must carry individual insurance on your sons and daughters. Once that runs, then we kick in with the school insurance. The CIF Code of Conduct is something that sets a standard that we want you to behave, both the coach, the student, and the fans or parents, to make sure that you behave in a way that represents Upland Christian Academy and each of our individual other schools that we play, that it becomes a positive atmosphere. Two of the more recent ones are cardiac arrest information. This is just to allow you to understand there could be a minor symptom that could be a sign of a problem with sudden cardiac arrest. And so we want you to review that material. And one that's been talked about quite a bit is concussion protocol. And again, that information is included in your registration packet, so review that information and we'll walk you through it. We follow state standards like any of the other 1,600 high schools in California. Eligibility. We want our student athletes to be students first. And so we want to make sure they maintain a good, solid GPA. We do have to set a baseline, and it's what CIF has set, which is a 2.0 GPA. Every student here that comes to Upland Christian should be able to maintain that GPA. So let's make sure we keep our students focused on the primary reason to be at Upland Christian is to focus on their academics. In the high school, we're a part of CIF and part of the Arrowhead League. In our junior high, we're part of the Mountain Valley Christian League, which is about 24 junior high schools in the Inland Empire. Some of our high school students like when they varsity letter to get a letterman's jacket. We recommend Monographics as the company. We've worked with them for 20 plus years and very, very happy. This is our athletic philosophy that we follow in all of our sport teams. Winning's a total release of all you are toward becoming like Jesus Christ in each situation. It's a lofty standard, and it's something that we strive every day as our student athletes understand that we want to behave like Jesus Christ if he was an athlete here at Upland Christian. How would he behave? Not just on the field or court, but during practice, not just games, and how would he behave at home? How would he behave in the classroom? So we want to really work hard to achieve that. We've been blessed to be a Champions for Characters for a school for many years, and that represents that our students, that our coaches, and especially our fans like you, our parents, represent Jesus Christ in a positive way at games. You've been to games where you've seen behavior not representing what we want to have in a positive light from a certain part of the fan group. We want to make sure that we keep that positive. And parents, you can help us out by sitting next to those people and just calming them down to make sure that they remember what we're here for, to win, being total release performance like Jesus Christ. We've been recognized in many different ways. One of them was Interscholastic Sports, the Program of Excellence Award in 2013. And it's all made possible by how our coaches, our student athletes, and you as parents act at our games and practices. How are our coaches hired? I'm the one that hires them. Trust me, I like them. So if you don't like them, we got the issues right there. We believe they're going to do a very, very good job. We ask all of our coaches to be Christians, to be able to represent Jesus Christ in a positive way. Many of them think, wow, do I have to act like Billy Graham? No, they don't need to be Billy Graham. But you know what's really, really important? Is our kids are going to be noticed more the way they walk the walk than how they talk the talk. We've seen many people on TV and pastors that talk, but how do they really act? And so it's important that our coaches represent Christ on the court and the field. We ask all of them to have prayer with the students once a day and to have a devotion once a week. It can be student-led or coach-led. But we believe that everything that we do should revolve around representing Jesus Christ. And we asked you, probably the most important part is parents, please trust your coach that they're going to do the right thing. We hire these coaches, we work with the coaches, we talk with our coaches. Trust them that they're going to support them like you do your teachers. These are hot buttons that we talk to our coaches about. The writing's too small, but I'm just going to go through a couple of the highlights. Behavior, that they represent Upland Christian in a positive way. And we have here a Christian coach has a lifestyle and atmosphere conducive to the religious and moral beliefs as taught by the Bible. So we want our coaches to have a positive representation of Jesus Christ. Social media is something that's come on the last 10 years, and we want to make sure that we continue to work with our student athletes and helping them understand what social media and how it can impact their lives, not just today, but in the future. And so please work with us on that part there, that they understand that there's some serious decisions they can make, and we want them to make sure they make the right decision. Communication, the core to the whole having a positive year or season of sport. Communication, we want our coaches to be able to communicate with their students and the parents to to make sure that they are telling everybody what is going on, whether it changes from day to day. So we want to make sure that this works out in a positive area there. Sometimes breakdowns can happen, but we want to make sure that we continue to work on it. Now, a couple things. We want our coaches to communicate in groups. Now, if they communicate by email, we want them in a group email. We don't want our coaches doing a one-on-one communication in a text or written. Now, parents, if you'd like to be part of that, we welcome that too. Just let the coach know. And that way you can stay informed too of what's going on from that point. Coaching requirements, we ask our coaches, they have to be certified in a few different areas. One, for our varsity coaches, we want them to pass the coaching principle class. That is an online 2-hour class that they've got to work through. Another one is that they're all fingerprinted and that they have a current TB test. They also have to have taken classes in concussion protocol and in sudden cardiac arrest. So these are different backgrounds that we want for our coaches so that they can provide a safe atmosphere for our student athletes. And the last is return to play protocol. There's a whole process set up by our CI state office, and we follow that. So if some student is suspected of having a concussion, then he or she needs to go see the doctor. Once they see the doctor, if it's diagnosed as a concussion, they're going to miss a minimum of 7 days. So 7 days from the date they see the doctor and it's diagnosed. Now, after the 7 days, when the doctor clears them, then they'll come back to practice and we'll work back to getting them game ready again. But that's not the only part of the protocol. And this is a packet that we will provide for you that will talk about getting back into it from a classroom standpoint so that they are able to start the workload. And some students take a little longer. Neon lights sometimes are as difficulty for students after a concussion sitting in a classroom. So we'll help you through that protocol too. Here's a key part. Coaches determine playing time, not anyone else. The coaches are the ones that are there at practice and the games that understand the dynamics of the team. Parents, if you can't take and accept this part right here, then you know what? Upland Christian Athletics isn't the right place for your student. Okay? So we want to make sure you understand that. That is not something we're going to talk about. That's just an accepted fact that the parent or the coach is going to make that decision. Here's my definition for playing time. If your child makes the team better, your child's going to play. If your child makes the team the same or doesn't lift the team up to at least that level, then they're not going to get a lot of playing time. And it's going to be their job to continue working up the ladder to earn. How do they do that? In practice, showing skills, doing things during the off season. For high schoolers, getting physically stronger. So those are some of the areas. And students earn playing time like they can earn an A in the classroom. And I've always made this deal is the day the teachers give A pluses to everybody in the classroom is the day we're going to let everybody play the same amount of time. But boy, those teachers, for some reason, they feel the student needs to earn that grade. Well, we're going to support them and say they need to earn playing time also. Now, how to work through certain problems that might occur during the season. First of all, we want Johnny to be able to deal with little Stevie and make sure they interact if there's a problem and let them talk it. Yeah, I know he's only in 6th grade or she's only in 7th grade, Mr. Edgman. I understand, but it's important that they understand they need to take that first step. So let's support them on that, give them some ideas, and let's see if it works. Now, if it doesn't, then we take it that Johnny needs to go talk to his coach and be able to discuss the issue and see if there's a solution and ask the coach for some help. Usually that takes care of almost all of our problems. But if not, then the student, the coach, and the parent can sit down. Probably a good time is after a practice and be able to discuss type of issues. One thing right now, let me just ask you, try to follow the 24-hour rule. If you're frustrated, mom or dad, after a game, don't come up to the coach right after the game. Emotions are high. Wait 24 hours, set up a meeting with the coach, and then sit down and discuss what your questions are with them. If it isn't resolved, then myself, the athletic director, will sit in. That rarely happens, but I'm there and available. This is one of the key provisions we put in our handbook. No association or use of drugs, alcohol, or tobacco at any time for 365 days. We don't live in a world that doesn't have this type of an issue. It can be in junior high and it can be in high school. But we want you to understand that parents, we're going to try to do something to help your student to be able to prevent them from getting involved in a situation. First of all, I'm never going to be at a party where I'm going to see them and they're sitting there with their red Solo cup just sipping away. But I am going to find out if that issue is there, and if they're associating with it, there's going to be a disciplinary action. And it can be a suspension all the way to an expulsion off the team. So it's my way to help our students be able to say to their peers, I can't go to that party because I know what's going to be there, and I don't want to take a chance of losing and not being able to play in a game or losing my whole season. So we want to make sure we support our families on that there. Practices. High school, 5 days a week, practices and games, and some day at times on Saturday. Volleyball tournaments, basketball tournaments, usually we'll have a Saturday game or games. And so we want you to understand that the commitment is the whole season, but here it is, 5 to 6 days a week, usually 2 to 3 hours a day. 2 hours with practice, and with travel and games, usually a little longer. But in junior high, we only go 4 days. And we want to make sure that they will be practicing 2 to 4 days a week. And then as games kick in, it'll be usually 2 games and 2 practices a week. And a little less time, about an hour and a half to maybe 2 hours from that point there. Here's a key one, it's school attendance. And it truly is a Mark Edgman rule. And that states that a student needs to be at school at least half the day for them to participate in practice and games. And the old rule came about when the old baseball pitcher decided he needed to take the whole day off so he could rest up for the big game this afternoon, 3 o'clock. Well, you know what? You need to be in school, and that's your priority. And you'll pitch just fine, and you get out there after a full day of school. But we understand there's some exceptions, and there's emergencies. Sometimes families have things that have been planned. The key part is to let the coach or myself know ahead of time so that we can make sure we make a clear decision on how that impacts your son or daughter. Transportation. Boy, is it much nicer now than it had been. We are now blessed by renting school buses for probably 90 to 100% of our athletic contests throughout the year. It is very nice. There are times with very small teams, say volleyball with 10 members, that a bus just really doesn't work out, and we use parent drivers from that standpoint. The parents need to fill out some information to make sure that everything's cleared, but the great majority of the time we put them on school buses to and from games. So makes it very nice from that standpoint. If you do drive though, one time in your experience here at Upland Christian, we're going to pay you. And right now it's set at a $20 gas card that we want to give you as a thank you, that if you drive 3 or more students, athletes in your car, then we'll give you a gas card. Please don't say no thank you. This is one time we want to say thank you, and please accept it. Thank you very much on that. Facilities. We want to be good stewards of our facility. And you know, here at Upland Christian's campus, which is on the Abundant Living Family Church campus, that it's a beautiful campus and very well maintained. And we want to do our part in taking care of it in the locker rooms, in the gymnasiums, and on the fields. So help us from that standpoint to make sure that your sons and daughters understand, take care of the property around here. And the same goes with equipment and uniforms. You know, we're blessed many times by our boosters in raising money to help buy some of the uniforms and equipment. So we appreciate that. You know, we do rent fields quite a few times. We've been in the process of renting fields for baseball and softball for a long time, and recently for football. And the Park and Rec here in Rancho Cucamonga has beautiful facilities. Help us to maintain those and represent Upland Christian Academy to our community. Communication. First day of the week, our office manager, Debbie Atchison, sends out an email to the families. If you'll scroll to the bottom of the email, you're going to see all the schedules for that week, games. You're going to see where they're playing, what time the games are at, and what time they're scheduled to leave campus. So help us out by watching that each week at the beginning of the week. One of the other things is we now have a new athletic app. If you're on your phone, you upload an app called 8 to 18, the number 8 to 18. You can go ahead and then put in Upland Christian, and it will give you all the game schedules, basically the same information that's sent out a week. But that program will be the most up to date, because if I have to make a change to a schedule, it'll change immediately on this app. You can also find it on our school website. Again, if you go to uplandchristianacademy.org, click on athletics, click on the athletic website, and then you're going to be able to see and go into the schedules of different games. So you look for the sport and you'll find the game schedule. Schedules are usually on 6 months to 9 months in advance of the season. So we do work far ahead in planning out our seasons. I mentioned it before, mention it one more time, communication. We want our coaches to be able to communicate clearly with their teams, as parents, to make sure you're well informed of what's going on. A lot of our teams do extra type of activities, sometimes team bonding activities, and we want you to be aware of what those are and how they come about. Sometimes we have teams that go on trips, and if they do go on a trip, it's planned well in advance, the big type of trips to other states. We want you to make sure we understand that that is coming about. I mentioned our school website. The other location of information is called maxpreps.com. It doesn't have current schedules, but it does have games, results of games. It has standings, and so it's a nice place to find out how things are going on and where do we stand. Are we going to make the playoffs in this final game? So it's a nice reference point for everyone. Probably the most painful part of this presentation are the athletic fees, but it's part of what we do to understand that we have user fees that are directly related to athletics. We want to minimize impacting the school total budget, and so we help out by charging individual fees for each sport. In junior high, it's set at $160 for all sports, and that's each season. So $160 in the fall, and it would be charged again for each of the other sports during the school year. High school is $210 the same way. If they play tackle football in high school, it's $260 because we have to charge an additional insurance fee for tackle football specifically. And it helps pay for equipment, uniforms, officials, facilities, and coaches. Yes, we pay our coaches, but we call it a thank you gift at the end. Basically, the coach gets a gift from our school that helps pay for their gas, helps pay for the meals when they go eat after the games, and it helps pay usually to reunite with their spouse that hasn't seen them for about 3 to 4 months. So it's a little thank you gift that we give them from that point there. There are something that we call spirit packs in high school, and a spirit pack is additional items. We issue out uniforms, a shirt or a jersey, shorts or pants. At the end of the season, we need that returned. But a spirit pack might be a sweatshirt or a cap or something that they're going to keep. If that is, then that's an additional cost above the other. We work with our coaches to keep it at the smallest amount possible. Now, there are some student athletes that their goal isn't just to play at Upland Christian, but they want to play when they get into a college. And we have student athletes playing presently and in the past over the years. Yes, we are not one of the big, powerful high schools, but we turn out some very good individuals. And when they do, schools want them to come and play for them. And how do you know that's true? Is they're willing to pay them money, called an athletic scholarship, to have them come. Now, just to let you know, most money isn't out of athletic scholarships that's used in college. It's out of academics. Remember that student athlete? Well, we want them to be a student first and to keep their GPAs and score very high on the SAT scores. But we know that they will have the opportunity. Most of our kids play in Division II, Division III, or NAIA. And so those areas, most of the time it's not a 100% scholarship, but it can be an 80% scholarship. And you've seen the price of colleges, so this is very beneficial. I will help walk you through this process. Our guidance counselor does a fantastic job of preparing the students to go off to college and get all the paperwork done. For the few that are athletes that want to play in college, we'll help you through those steps. Generally around the sophomore year, we'll start talking and set up a meeting with myself and we'll work through it. I can email you a fact sheet and help you through the steps so you know. It's not an easy process. It definitely is not. It's a lot of work, but I can help you and give you guidance to show you how to get there from that standpoint. So it is a lot of fun watching our kids when they start to play at college. Probably the key part is, remember, you don't choose the college chooses you. And for our kids, California is a difficult place for them to play, but they can go play out of state. Mom, Dad, are you willing to let them do that? If you are, there's a high likelihood our good athletes will be able to play at a college. Thank you for attending this meeting. This has really, really been a special time. We started these type of meetings 12 years ago, and before that, I used to hear a parent that I very well respected say something to another parent that I respected, and they were talking about something I said, and it wasn't true. So we started these meetings to make sure that all of our parents knew what the rules were and how to play within the rules. And so these meetings have made experiences much more positive. Mom, Dad, what I want from you is that if you, at the end of the season, you can look back, win or lose, and say, you know what, my son, my daughter had a great experience being part of the athletic program at Upland Christian. If that happened, then I believe we've succeeded in what we're doing, and that's winning the total release performance. So thank you for your time tonight, and I appreciate it. Make sure you do check off that you did watch this video. Thank you very much. Bye.